The elephant in the room when it comes to these two teams, the Pacers and the Lakers.
And the Lakers right now are trying to play a game of waiting things out to see what other potential deals are out there while still potentially thinking about going back to re-engage with the Indiana Pacers.
Coming into this season, the Los Angeles Lakers decided on a plan, and although I don't necessarily think it's a plan that will make Laker fans happy, it was a plan that made a lot of sense. And it seems like they're pivoting from that plan because they have a huge opportunity to potentially contend if they play the next couple of months right. As a matter of fact, I'm confident that this Lakers team is going to look completely different in a month from now. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Coming into this season, the Los Angeles Lakers had a very clear plan. After consistently trying to deceive teams into them believing that they actually like Russell Westbrook on the team, the Lakers' plan was to prove to the entire NBA that Russell Westbrook isn't horrible, especially when he's coming off of the bench, hopefully pump up his value and eventually trade him for players that they would actually need. That was their original plan. But once they saw that they needed to package Russell Westbrook with two very valuable future first-round picks in years where the Los Angeles Lakers were going to be pretty terrible, they decided to pivot from that plan and just play it out the way it's supposed to be for the rest of the season. And throughout this entire season, there's been evidence for the Lakers potentially holding on to Russell Westbrook, and then there's been evidence for the Lakers planning on trading Russell Westbrook. And the biggest roadblock for the Lakers thus far are those two first-round picks. So check this out, because we have multiple reports on this. In addition to this, we have the Lakers targets. Some are more delusional than others, I will admit. Let's start with the latest report on Russell Westbrook. According to Sam Amick of The Athletic, an individual that we 100% trust, the Los Angeles Lakers likely won't deal Russell Westbrook. The article is long, so I'll give you what I believe is the highlights of this. It starts out with the fact that Russell Westbrook, who provided 20 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, and 2 turnovers versus the Boston Celtics, got some love from a Lakers fan who said, "Good job, Russ." A year ago, we could all agree there was clip after clip after clip of Los Angeles Lakers fans hating on Russell Westbrook. And my, have things changed. According to a source with knowledge of the Lakers' plans, Westbrook's play this past month has made it increasingly unlikely that he will be traded before the league's February 9th deadline. Since becoming a sixth man on October 28th, the 34-year-old, who is in the final year of his massive contract, has averaged 15.2 points, 7.9 assists, 5.8 rebounds, 3.8 turnovers, and 28.2 minutes. For the sake of perspective, only 6 players, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, John Morant, Pascal Siakam, Drew Holiday, and James Harden, have met those 15, 7, and 5 marks so far this season, and the Lakers have gone 11 and 12 in that span. Now, Amick does mention that still, Russell Westbrook isn't necessarily the greatest fit for the Los Angeles Lakers, and he's getting paid a ton of money. And he even cites the fact that the Lakers have multiple paths, which we actually mentioned in our last video. If you remember in our previous video, we talked about how Jovan Buha said that the Lakers could either trade Russell Westbrook plus a pick or two for a star or multiple players, trade some combination of Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn, and picks for role players, and 3 would be just 2 separate deals, which is essentially doing both, trading Russell Westbrook and then trading Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley. Now, according to Shams Charania, on Monday, he reported that the Lakers have shown interest in Detroit's Bojan Bogdanovic and New York's Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier. The pressure remains to make a move or two of significance, especially with the Lakers having lost 4 of their last 5 games, and LeBron James making it clear in so many ways that recently his patience is waning. In addition to this, it even says that Jeannie Buss was known to be reluctant to give up on Russell Westbrook in the days leading into training camp when they came close to a well-chronicled deal with Indiana that would have sent Russell Westbrook to the Pacers in exchange for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. If that's the case, you might be wondering, Mike, what is the Lakers' plan at this point? I'm going to give you the less delusional plan before I give you the more delusional plan. Jovan Buha gave us another trade rumor article, and I think the most important part of this, because we've already talked about most of this before, is when will the Lakers make a trade? And according to him, not for at least 2 to 4 weeks, the end of December through mid-January. But that doesn't mean the the Lakers haven't been flirting with other players in the entire NBA. Starting with the player that used to be on their team, an individual by the name of Kyle Kuzma. This was pretty embarrassing, I gotta admit. If you want to talk about the definition of the Lakers selling low and then trying to buy high, this is it. And Rob Pelinka does it a lot. I mean, the Lakers decided to trade Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and more to get Russell Westbrook to begin with. And just over a year later, the Lakers have inquired about Kyle Kuzma. Per Chris B. Haynes, LA's definitely interested in reuniting with Kyle Kuzma. I don't have a problem with Kuzma. I'm actually really happy he's thriving, and to be honest, he made for remarkable content for the channel. I'm so happy that he is succeeding. What's bothering me is the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers literally took this man, consistently damaged his value throughout the playoffs. I mean, you saw all of these articles coming out about Kyle Kuzma's weaknesses, and then deciding to throw him in alongside with Montrezl Harrell and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I mean, we would do anything for one of those players right now, and then took back a player that clearly didn't fit with their roster just because he was a former MVP. I mean, it was the pure definition of either LeBron James not having the basketball IQ that we think he has, or just being a horrific GM, or if you don't want to blame LeBron James, literally Rob Pelinka thinking that this is NBA 2K My GM. Take a bunch of good players at differing positions and throw them all together, and hopefully it works out. So the reason why I'm so angry about this situation is the fact that the Lakers literally destroyed Kuzma's stock, traded him to the Wizards, where he's balling out recently. The Wizards are pumping up his stock again, and now the Lakers are interested again. Moments like this piss me off because I start to wonder, why on earth did we extend Rob Pelinka for finally getting an Anthony Davis trade done, which by the way may net the New Orleans Pelicans Victor Wembanyama? But rant aside, this is exactly what I mean when I say Kyle Kuzma makes for great content. The moment he found out about this, he said, "Nothing like getting off the plane and that California breeze hits you." Ha ha ha, I see what you did there, Kyle. Well, he gave a much more legitimate response to the situation, saying, "I think it just shows you the grass is not always greener. It's definitely a good thing because at the end of the day, that means I've been playing well and I have value in this league. That a team would want to trade for me, it's a blessing." He's currently averaging 21.4 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per night, while shooting 34% from downtown. And he intends on declining his player option and trying his luck in free agency this summer. So where does that put the Lakers? Well, I'll tell you what the more reasonable trade targets are. DeMar DeRozan is an individual that the Lakers could trade for. The question is, how much more does he have left in the tank, and whether or not the Chicago Bulls truly want to punt on this season and on the current core that they have of aging veterans that played really well together last year. Kyle Kuzma, we already mentioned. Miles Turner and Buddy Hield are still in the conversation. Kyrie Irving, depending on how the Brooklyn Nets season goes, could also be in the conversation as well if the Nets fear that they're going to lose him anyway. And then there's the more delusional aspect of this report, something that I will admit I found to be very funny, where according to Jovan Buha, the Lakers' dream scenario is to acquire Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, or Bradley Beal. We'll just read this just so we could see if there's any rationale that makes sense here. But it essentially says, to this point, the Los Angeles Lakers have refused to part with the only tradable future first-round picks in 2027 and 2029, but that hasn't stopped the Lakers from dreaming big. Should any one of Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, or Bradley Beal seek a trade, the Lakers would hope to be their destination. Until then, LA is focused on smaller, more likely deals. There are so many problems with this. I mean, a part of me feels like the Buss family went ahead and paid off The Athletic just to give Laker fans false hope, because first things first, the Lakers would not be able to match any type of salary for a deal that includes Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, or Bradley Beal without giving up Russell Westbrook and his expiring $47 million contract. So far, no one was willing to take on Russell Westbrook's contract. In addition to this, when teams were trying to engage the Brooklyn Nets to trade for Kevin Durant, the issue with that situation was there was no deal that the Brooklyn Nets liked. I mean, do you really think 2 future first-round picks would be enough for the Brooklyn Nets to give up on Kevin Durant? I personally think it would be a good deal because the Nets are completely devoid of any assets, and the 2027 and 2029 Lakers are probably going to be terrible, but it just doesn't seem to make sense. I don't think trading for Bradley Beal makes much sense either. He literally just signed a max contract extension with the Washington Wizards this past summer and has a no trade clause in his contract. So if he does look at the Lakers and says, "Hey, I
don't want to go there.
He has the power to do that. And then finally, Damian Lillard. I am not willing to entertain any Damian Lillard trade rumor at all whatsoever at this point, primarily because he's had multiple opportunities to demand a trade or say he's frustrated and he wants to leave his team. And no matter how bleak it looked for the Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard stuck by his team. And now things are looking a little bit better than they did a year ago. So why would he be traded at this point? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments section down below. We're gonna get a lot of answers within the next month or so. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.